Was university always in Nifes plans?
Yeah.
Well, are you...
Welcome to In the Common Room With, a show brought to you by Word on the Curb and the Open University. We'll be bringing together some of your favourite content creators and personalities who'll be discussing balancing creative careers alongside education and learning, as well as finding out who went to uni and who didn't.
I hate the phrase, have a backup.
You and me both, babe, sorry.
There you go.
That's already going to start an argument.
Don't even, bruh.
Each episode, they'll be joined by their family or friends, so we'll see what role they played in their journey and get a unique glimpse into their lives. So who knows what we'll find out.
Hey guys, it's Henrie, and now we are in the common room with one of my faves. It's Nife and her mum, Amma. And do you remember what class you fell asleep in?
Maybe everyone. When she could walk, she would always dance, whether it's out of beat or in beat, whatever.
I kind of thought, oh, everyone that's doing it is doing it for fun because it was fun. I didn't realise it was an actual career till I got older.
Hello.
It's so lovely to have you here. And it's nice to have your twin in the room as well.
That's already going to start an argument. My mother does not believe I look like her.
OK, let's play a little icebreaker game, yeah? Never have I ever danced in front of a mirror. I know you both have. I've seen the TikTok.
Yes, every day.
All right. Never have I ever owned a pet.
Oh.
OK, what pet did you... Why did you have to think of it?
Do you know what it was?
You want a pet?
Wait, stop. Remember that butterfly I had for about a week before I killed it by accident? I had a little butterfly. This is so sad, but I had a little butterfly. Yeah. And I was silly. I thought, you know what, it can breathe if I keep it in a container. It died.
Sis.
So that's the closest thing I've had to a pet. But it kind of counts because I looked after it in a way,
I guess. Morbid, though. Scared of you, but... All right. Never have I ever been on a roller coaster. You're shaking.
I hate roller coasters.
Really?
I hate them. The last time I was on one in Italy, when we went to Italy, I passed out twice. So I was like, yeah,
really?
I'm done now. I can't do this anymore.
Oh, bless you. It's OK. Oh, you don't have to do it again. All right. Never have I ever thrown a party for someone else. Mum's still thinking. OK. Who did you throw a party for, Nife? Why are you hiding your face?
Because it was in my mum's house.
I said I needed water.
It was very small. It was a small gathering. My mum would travel a lot when we were younger, so I had my friends over. I had a little get-together. Nothing happened. I mean,
this is the first time you're hearing of this, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was my bestie at the time, but it was fine.
After this.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
I am.
All right. Never have I ever, and I'm looking at both of you here, fallen asleep in class. Mum, really?
Really?
That was going to be hard.
Like, why would I be falling asleep in class? My parents sent me there to study. Falling asleep like how?
No, because that is such a mum thing to say.
I know.
My parents sent me to study, so you too, you must study. Yes. And do you remember what class you fell asleep in?
Maybe everyone.
You know what I was going to say? I'm not going to lie, that's the answer.
Everyone.
Like, at least once in every subject I've ever studied.
I hear it, girl.
Apart from dance.
Apart from dance, yeah. Actually, apart from dance, that's the only one I didn't fall asleep in, yeah.
Never have I ever got a tattoo. OK, Mum is giving you a very serious side eye. So when she got the tattoo, what did you first say?
I had a panic attack.
No word of a lie. No, for real. My mum was not happy.
I think I cried.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, my God.
Why? Why, Nife? Why?
Look, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Never have I ever kissed somebody on a first date.
Hey! Jesus! I can't even lie.
Wait. I was not... Okay, what in? Me too, because...
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
No, I was screaming.
Was it before I was born?
What does it matter?
I'm here.
No, because we're going to get this answer today.
I can't breathe.
No, they want to know.
Was it my dad?
Forget. Your dad. Maybe your dad is watching.
I thought my mother was a good girl. I thought my mother was a good...
I literally can't.
No, sorry, it was just a kiss.
Yeah, it was
true, but still.
No.
Well, I'm loving the mum-daughter dynamic here. That brings us to the end of Never Have I Ever. I know you're like, sigh of relief. It's fine, it's over now. Okay.
Hey guys, it's just Nife here with my mum, Amma. And today we're in the common room with Word on the Curb.
And if you enjoyed the episode, like, comment, subscribe, press that button.
All right, guys, let's get into some questions. Amma, what was Nife like when she was growing up?
No, she was lovely, actually. She was always afraid of getting into trouble. And she was very shy. She was very shy,
really was.
Extremely shy.
Like, really, like I would,
Yeah.
As you were growing up, what kind of careers did you see, like, that you could get into?
Do you know what? I've always been, like, blessed and lucky to always have an idea that I was going to do entertainment. You know, like,
At one point, you wanted to do fashion designing.
True. Well, I've always wanted to be in
like the
creative
industry,
space.
yeah.
I wanted to do fashion. I wanted to be a fashion designer. I wanted to be a merchandiser at one point.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to also be a teacher. Do you remember that? For a while? I wanted to be a teacher. So I've always felt like, okay, well, I'm going to do that. There was no other option. Like, I knew that I was going to be in the entertainment or like creative space. But in terms of like actually knowing what it was that I was going to do, that only came a bit later.
That answer is quite interesting.
Okay.
Because when I was growing up, I just saw like the entertainment industry as something you just saw on the telly.
Yeah.
There was always that disconnect of like seeing it and actually being in it. So what would you say was that like factor that helped you kind of see yourself in something?
Right. I think, again, blessed to have a mum that supported it from when I was like younger in terms of a hobby. But my mum and my grandma made me go to like stage school from, what age was I? How old was I?
How old were you? Maybe 6, 7?
6, 7. So
Maybe 7.
yeah, and when you're in a stage school, you're doing auditions for production. So you kind of already know that there's somewhat of an industry. I had to do an audition for an agency too.
Right.
EastEnders audition or something like that. Lion King one. Like,
Lion King.
I was already doing stuff where it was like, okay, this could be something.
Thing.
But
yeah.
in saying that, I'm now remembering that I didn't know it was a career. I just knew I wanted to keep on doing it. So I thought I always would have a job and then do this on the side. I didn't realise people lived and made money from this, like as in that was their bread and butter. I kind of thought, oh, everyone that's doing it is doing it for fun because it was fun. I didn't realise it was an actual career till I got older.
And so, Amma, for you, how did you encourage Nife's aspirations?
Like I said, she was a very shy child. So my mom and I, may her soul rest in peace, we thought, okay, what can we do to bring her out of her shell? And she loved to dance. Like, anytime she heard music from when she could walk, she would always dance, whether it's out of beat or in beat, whatever. I'll story for another day. But yeah, so we thought, okay, let's send her to Stagecoach because that would bring her out, you know, she'd be able to. And yeah, she just kind of found herself there. And it was, if you have a child that is shy and never coming out of herself, to see something where she can come out of herself, express herself, it was very therapeutic for her, I think. So people say I supported her, but I think it was just wanting the best for your child. And if you see them thriving somewhere, you allow them to be there.
No, it's important. And I love that as well. And you can see it in you guys' dynamic that you just want her to be the best that she can be, which is great. And so, Nife, for you, when did you actually discover that you had this passion for dancing?
Uni would have been the time, actually, because I realised that I didn't want to be in uni any chance I got. I wanted to be back in London dancing. Even while I'm studying, I'm doing videos at home. I was teaching classes at uni, like in the student union, and it was for free. So I was just doing everything and anything to do with dance. And I was like, I think I like this. I think I really, really want to do this and continue after uni.
How did people react when they found out that you are a fully fledged dancer?
Mixed reactions. Back then, it was not cool to be a dancer like that, especially Afro, and I was the Azonto warrior. I actually got a lot of people dancing when I was in uni. Like, a lot of people that you would never see them in a dance class. They ended up coming to my classes, like all my friends and their friends, and people from like the uni next door would come and sneak their way into the union and get into the class, and they were fun. So I think after a while, people just warmed up to the dance thing.
How did everybody else in the family take it that Nife was gonna take up dancing?
I didn't ask anyone because it's my child, so.
Per. Period.
Yeah. I know the only thing, my youngest brother, he was like, oh, don't let her be dancing naked on music videos. And I think that was just the main concern, that she's going to be one of those girls where she's wearing nothing and dancing.
Yeah. So then, Amma, can you remember the first time you watched Nife perform?
Church, yes.
Okay.
Church, primary school. Okay, now in Stagecoach, I think there was one you did at Her Majesty's Theatre. I know you were little, but for me, I was like, okay, we're going to make it.
Make it out the hood.
And do you know what, Nife, you touched on it ever so slightly about dancing in church, as you've, Mum, you've seen her dance in church. Yeah. Tell us, like, the experience of dancing in church. Was that where you started initially?
To be honest, yeah, I would say performance-wise, on my own especially, it was a really good way of getting confident being myself on stage. Like, I was just by myself, so it was good training, I would call it, as well.
Well, then, let's, like, go into university and university life then. Was university always in Nife's plans?
Yeah.
Well, are you saying that as mum, though? Are you saying that as it's a must in your life, or did Nife also want to go to university?
I didn't actually ask her whether she wanted to go or not. She was going.
The question was not asked.
No, it wasn't asked. She was going, and yes. I always said to her, you can dance, but you always have to have, for me, I used to say to her, you have to have a plan B. Like, what if you can't dance? Then what? Yeah. You have to have something to be able to get a job. And for me, from where I was coming from in my generation, that thing was uni. I didn't say, you have to go. I was like, you're going.
Yeah.
So you have to go in italics.
In italics. In small caps, yeah.
Did you have that pressure when it was your turn? Did you have that pressure to go to uni at all?
No, but then I went to uni in Nigeria, and everybody was going to uni.
Yeah, like it was the default.
It was like a natural step.
Yeah, it was natural, because now there's so many options. You have BTech, you have apprenticeships, you have... Back then, you had nothing.
That's true.
So there was no pressure. It was just understood that if you had the means, you were going.
So what did you study, and what did everybody make of it?
So initially, I applied for a dance degree, because my mum was like, you can go and even study dance if you want. Yeah. So I applied for a dance degree. There was a time, obviously, between when you end college and you're waiting to go to uni, and I was like, I don't actually want to go to uni yet. So my mum made me very seriously come to her with all the pros and cons of why I want to take a gap year and all of this. You know, she thought about it and she was like, yeah, you can take your gap year, because I wanted to basically train in dance, explore dance, like the options I had. And in that time, I ended up deciding I wanted to do marketing because, again, I loved business and it was one of my best subjects in school. And the part of business studies I used to love was marketing. And I knew that I wanted to use it for myself at some point. So I ended up studying public relations and marketing.
Okay. So obviously you took a year out. Was there something in there that made you not want to... Do you know what I mean? Could there have been an ideal situation in which you could have gone to uni and done everything else? Do you know what I mean? What was, like, the thing that was stopping you?
I think it was I wasn't ready. I think it was just as simple as I wasn't ready. I wanted to do loads of music videos and shows and, like, network, and I just thought, I don't have to go.
I think the thing she said then was... You were 18, I believe, and she said if she doesn't get into dance now, by the time she finishes uni, she'll be like 21, 22. It'll be difficult for her to get back into it.
And that is then, talk to me about the flexibility of uni and dance for you, because if you now felt that, I'm going to have to take this chunk of time out of my life to be able to focus on something I'm truly passionate about, was university that flexible in your, do you know what I mean, in your mind's eye?
Not really. And it was hard, I'm not going to lie. There was a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of back and forth, and a lot of money spent on those train tickets.
Yeah.
It was not cheap. But it was worth it in the end, so.
So what would you change about your uni experience if you could?
I think if I had applied myself a little bit more, I might have gotten a better... I mean, I did well, but I might have done even better because I just think I was too distracted by dance. But then I can't say distracted because that's what I do now, so...
I think you got a good balance.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
So, Amma, if you knew that there was flexible distance learning available, would you then maybe have encouraged Nife to maybe do everything at once instead of maybe taking a gap here?
Yeah, 100%, because at least, you know, she wouldn't have to sacrifice one for the other. So that would have been the perfect answer,
Absolutely. OK, so obviously, now that everybody's done their research, we know about distance learning and flexibility within our uni lives. How do you kind of feel that would have maybe changed the way that you would have lived life back then?
Do you know what? I think it would have changed the way I lived life back then because it would have made it very easy for me. But I also feel like it would have taught me a valuable lesson of how to balance something, because I would have been doing half of my education, or half of my time dedicated to that, and then half of my time dedicated to dance.
It even, like, helps with literal life skills.
Yeah, no, life skills.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's something about, like, normal, straight uni where, again, you're just given your timetable and then that's just it. You just have to turn up to this class when we say you turn up. But if it's like, all right, cool, it's distance learning and it's flexible, then, yeah, uni works around me, but I have to make sure I'm still dedicated to my uni 100%. As well as everything else that I'm passionate about.
And I feel like distant learning is for people like myself, who in uni, I actually struggled with money a little bit. Like, it wasn't crazy, but like, learning how to do with money. They give you a lump sum of money and they expect you to know how to, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of money.
I just got bare wigs. You don't even know.
Listen, I saw all my friends getting wigs. I wasn't a wig baby yet, but I saw everyone doing it. So I feel like I would have maybe given myself more time. If I was able to learn distantly, I could have given myself more time to learn about money and all that stuff before getting into a position
Money management. Very, very true. I feel like my hair wouldn't have been as laid as it needed to.
And it would have been okay.
And it would have been all right. We're at uni, we're here to learn.
Literally,
do you know what I mean?
literally.
Amma, do you reckon you would have maybe encouraged Nife to kind of go for distance learning instead of maybe taking a year out?
Hindsight is a wonderful thing, as I say. So, possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, I did know about the Open University, to be honest, because I'd heard about it, but I guess post-COVID, everything is virtual now. Everybody's on Zoom. We're having work Zoom meetings. So it's more of a thing now. It's more of a consideration. It's more, especially now when she talks about maybe furthering her education, doing her master's or PhD, whatever. That's the only thing that will suit her lifestyle.
So where are you going to apply to when you do your master's degree, babe?
I mean, Open University will have me. I would actually love to do it with Open University because I think I've heard about it for a long time now and I've learned so much. What would I do?
Yeah.
Do I say that right now?
You can say it right now.
Okay. So I want to do psychology.
No way.
Yeah, something like that because I want to know about the brain and like what in certain things makes people's brain go is what I want to know.
Hey guys, it's Henrie, and if you're enjoying this episode of In the Common Room With, make sure you like, comment and subscribe to Word on the Curb. So, Amma, what was your first job?
My first job was in Debenhams. Tote stand, tote umbrellas, tote socks, Christmas.
So everything tote.
At the door, Debenhams, 1990.
And so now we know what Amma's done straight out of uni. Nife, what did you do straight out of uni?
So for me, I worked in customer services for a fashion brand straight out of uni, but I was looking for a job for a while. And when it was time to now finally get a job and make some money, I needed somewhere that was flexible, that could help me buy some clothes and stuff. So the company I worked for was a perfect fit, got 40% off. It was a night shift job, so I would do like 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. and it was only 4 days a week. So it meant that if I really needed to do something during the day, I could just sacrifice sleep. And then the other days that I was off, I could also work. So it worked for a while and I gave myself a year. There was a pivotal moment where I was featured in a campaign for the brand. So I was all over the office and I remember sitting there thinking, I can't look at myself in an office and still be here. Like, I need to figure out
what's going to happen.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So, yeah, that was like a sign that this could be your real life career, so you need to leave.
And so then, Nife, even for you, because I love hearing, like, the story of, like, kind of how you transitioned from uni into being the full-time dancer that you are now. But how did you, like, make that transition?
Do you know what? I think this is where, again, uni played a great role because when I was studying, obviously I did PR and marketing, and one of the things I remember my lecturer saying was, listen, you guys have to look in the class that you're in now because you can network upwards all the time, downwards, but sideways is one of the best ways to network, right? And I was consciously making sure that anyone that I met had a good experience. Like, I got your contact. Like, I just didn't know who would need me for what when. I would let everybody know what I did. I'm a dancer. You need that in the first 5 minutes. I would just find a way to connect with that person on a particular level and just make sure that I kind of kept in contact with people so that by the time, you know, I'm asking around about auditions and stuff, people are really responsive because they always knew that this is what I wanted to do. So it just, thank God, it worked out. It worked out.
Cool. So then how has it changed both of your lives then, Nife being in the public eye?
Please, let's go there.
Can't even go to the supermarket anymore.
No. I was in Paris.
Exactly, I was hoping for that story.
I was in Paris a few months ago and I'm rushing, like, trying to, wow, what platform? And I'm asking this customer service lady, oh, sorry, what platform? She goes, I know you. I'm like, no, you don't. She goes, I saw your dance video. I'm like, Jesus, what? She's like, yeah, you're Nife's mom. I ran as fast as my feet could take. I ran. I was like, no way. This is in Paris, it's not even in London. And then, so, it's not doing very well for me.
And so you must be taking it in your stride as well then, Nife?
Yeah, I am. Like, if I'm being honest as well, I think in the beginning I definitely struggled with, like, being anxious about certain things.
Post-COVID, I think.
Post-COVID, because I had grown during COVID. So these numbers were numbers, not people to me, until I stepped outside, when we were allowed to go out, it made me struggle with like the idea that I'm constantly being watched, but I had to just kind of change that narrative for myself in my head.
And my last questions, first of all, I'm going to start with you. What advice would you give to people with creative children? And is there anything that maybe you might have done differently in raising Nife?
So G said she wanted to do dance, and I was like,
Oh yeah, you were.
So you dance every day. Why do you want to do dance as a subject? So I think on hindsight, like I say, I would have allowed her to just do, because I allowed her to do stage show, so it made sense
naturally
for her to want to do that, right? But I was like, no. So I've always been of the opinion that, you know, if you have a talent, it's a God-given talent, and you need to be able to explore it. Wow. If you let them bury that talent, it's going to manifest itself in different ways, either rebellion or something. So just let them explore whilst you guide them. Because if you don't let them explore whilst they're under your roof where you can guide them, they're going to go and explore when they have no guidance, and then that can turn into something else. So.
And so if there was a young person sat right in front of us here and they would love to navigate, do you know what I mean, the content world, what advice would you give to them about the internet space in general?
Oh, just know what you're doing, know who you are before you start delving into internet space, because you're going to hear so many opinions from so many different sources. You need to know what you represent and what you want to do and what feels good to you, and kind of stick to that. And
my last question for you, Nife, is what advice would you give to somebody who wants to dance and study simultaneously?
Do it. Just do it. Like, there's actually no other way to just do it. If you want to do it, study and put everything you can anyway, into studying, and put your all into the dance. You will sacrifice some social time and some sleep, maybe, but if you believe it's worth it, it's worth doing, right? Like,
guys, it's been great to have you here. It's Nife and Amma in the common room, everybody.